Well, Premier Brad Wall unveiled his new cabinet earlier this week, which saw some new faces and some major changes to portfolios. So I'm happy to be joined this morning by our new Social Services Minister, Tina Beaudry-Mellor. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Now take us through, for people who may be a little bit unfamiliar with Tina, what you bring to the table for being the new Social Services Minister, because you do have some areas, such as working with the Regina Transition House, to bring to this portfolio.
Yeah, the Regina Transition House is certainly a place where I spent some time as a board member, but I have been a long-time supporter. And violence against women is an area that I'm very passionate about. As an undergraduate, I spent some time as a Life Skills Education Centre coordinator at the Regina In-District Food Bank. So I do have some experience in dealing with people who are vulnerable in our communities, and that's an area of passion for me within our caucus.
Absolutely. You were elected MLA for Regina University just this past election. How do you feel taking on such a large portfolio, such as social services?
You know, it's a very complicated and tough portfolio. There's no question about that. And I think if I'm to be fully honest, it's a bit scary. But I think if it's scary, I think perhaps you have the right way to start, because there are vulnerable people at the other end of some of the decisions that you make, and I think you need to make those very seriously. And so being a little bit afraid of that is a good thing, I think.
A good way to look at it, for sure. And do you have any immediate priorities going into this role?
Absolutely. There has been some questions around some of the recent changes that we've made to the income assistance programs, and there's been a little bit of controversy about that. So my first priority is to get my head into this file and to learn it as best I can. So I'm in briefings. I was in briefings yesterday. I'm going to be in briefings today, and then tomorrow I'm taking binders and binders home so that I can have a really good sense of what is going on in this file, so that I can make, I think, informed decisions going forward.
Fair enough. And, you know, on this terms of the SED program, it did face a lot of criticism, and just given what's involved with social services, dealing with families, often dealing with children, it comes up sometimes with a lot of criticism. Do you feel like you have the, for lack of a better word, thick skin for that kind of feedback that might come to you?
You know, I think in politics you have to have thick skin regardless of the portfolio. This one is obviously a heightened sense of criticism. It's a very difficult job, and it's very difficult to meet everyone's needs simultaneously, and there are always very difficult and complex decisions. So I think I'm prepared as anyone can be in that role. Of course, I've had some background in being dealing with media and that sort of thing in my background as a political scientist, and so I guess I'm prepared as I can be.
Fair enough. Have you had any advice from your predecessor?
Minister Harpower has been fantastic. She's a wonderful lady, and she's offered her counsel on numerous items whenever I have time to sit down with her and ask questions, which I will definitely take her up on.
Fair enough. And what came to mind when you heard about this shuffle and heard that this was going to be your new role?
I was emotional, to be honest with you, when the Premier asked me, because it's a very great honor. I'm in extremely esteemed company, and I think it is very humbling, especially in the file that I'm in. It's a very humbling portfolio for me to be in, and so my first thought was, okay, obviously the Premier has some confidence in me, and I have a tall order, and I need to deliver, and so that's how I will be approaching the file.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, letting us pick your brain. Congratulations on
thank you.
The new role, and I'm sure we'll be chatting with you lots in the future.